Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this particular lesson I'm going to show you how we can easily drag and drop our graphs and also doing other things to this particular canvas that we've created to shape our dashboard within a less amount of time, instantly, efficiently and accurately. So let's see how to do it. It is very easy. At first, we are going to provide a title for our dashboard. So to create a title for our dashboard, we simply double click here to initiate the cursor, and then we delete the title that we had there before, that we wrote there before, and then we now think about what title we will want to give to our insights. That is the title that will be the most representative for these insights. You can write a title like Business Insights Dashboard. That is what I'll be using, Business Insights Dashboard. So that's a Business Insights Dashboard. Remember, we used the pivot table analysis technique for generating some findings and insights to make a decision. You can provide such title like Business Insights Dashboard that actually represents your findings. Next thing we're going to do is to first click on finding number 1. You can remember we had different worksheets created where we visualized our output from the pivot table. So we first go to finding 1, and we are going to select our graph, and then we want to copy this graph. So we are going to select this graph, then copy it, then go over to our Canva, and then we'll proceed to pasting the graph we copied here. So let's delete this first graph we wrote here, and then we paste the graph that we've copied. So we'll go ahead and paste it. So we've been able to paste this here. So the next thing we'll do is to drag our graph and adjust per our canvas area. So simply drag it so we can fill this canvas area. So we have done that. Now let's proceed to finding number 2. Proceed to finding number 2. We want to select the second graph, which is this. I want to copy it and then paste it, just the same thing we just did for the first graph. Then we paste it, and then we drag it as per the area size. That is the size of the canvas that we've created to accommodate it. So we do the same thing for the third graph. So we simply remove this, then go over to finding number 3. Then we simply copy this, to copy the third graph. Then we head over back to our canvas, and then we simply paste it. And the next thing we'll do is, as you guessed, is to drag it to accommodate the area size. And then we do the same thing for the fourth and last graph. We simply clean this, we remove this, and then we go over to finding 4, and then we copy it, and then we go back and paste. So we paste this here, and then we drag it to adjust the size. So as you can see, we have been able to bring in our 4 graphs to our dashboard that we are creating. But you can see that our graph number 1 is not looking much attractive, so we proceed to change it. So to do this, that is to change it, to proceed to the change chart option, we click on the graph, and under the change tools tab, we click on change chart type. So we want to change this from clustered column chart to 100% stacked bar chart. So we'll go to under bar chart, then we click on 100% stacked bar chart, and we click back on it. So there we have it. Now we've been able to change the chart type. As you can see, this particular graph actually shows you a 100% length graph, length bar, and dividing the entire bar based on the percentage value for each product category. And if you compare the color segment between profit margin and discount rates, you can easily identify their size and their values. For example, for this particular beauty and health product category, the profit margin is, as you can see, is 23%. But when we go over to the clothing product category, you can see that when we go over to the clothing product category, it is 20%, and so on. If you continue to go over the product category of each of these products. So the next thing we are going to do is to generate slicers for these graphs, for these 4 graphs, so that we can enhance the interactivity. So first, we are going to generate the slicer for our first graph. That is this graph, which is our first graph. We are going to generate a slicer for that. So to do that, we select it, and then proceed to the options tab, and then we click on insert slicer. So for this, we want to select the payment method variable. So we click, or rather we check this variable, that is the payment method variable, and then we hit OK. So this is our slicer. So the next thing we'll do is to drag our slicer to the area we marked as tools. So we drag it and then align it to the area size. So there we have our first slicer for the first graph. So we'll do the same thing for the second, third, and font graph. So I'll go ahead and do mine. You can do yours as well. So for the second slicer, I used customer segment as the variable. For the third one, I used sales channel, and for the fourth one, I used city. Pardon me for this. For the slicers being that's the variables or the headers that are supposed to be there being invisible. It's because I created this on Excel first, and I tried to continue it with WPS because some of the things I want to make use of are not on the Excel web, so pardon me for that. So next, I'm going to input the information of start 1 and start 2. I will go ahead and remove the start 2 writing. So I will remove the start 2 writing. That is the, I'll double click and then remove it. Then I'm going to click on this yes, the start. So I'm going to click on it and then go over to merge and center option again. This time around I want to unmerge it, so I'll click there and then click here as well. That is so I want to segment this area into two parts. The first part will be to write any hypothetical value for sales, and the second part would be for quantity sold. And after providing these values within the two areas, then I will go over to start 1 and provide info for the profit margin. So start 1 will be for profit margin, and then here I'm going to divide it into 2. So let me do that. So I've gone ahead to divide all of them. So for this, for the profit margin, we are going to provide the equation or an equation in this particular cell to predict the profit margin based on any given sales and also quantity sold by double clicking on the cell that includes the formula. So I did this behind, or like a project I worked on. As I said, a project I worked on. So I'm going to be pulling the formula from there. So if you want that part of the video is actually the statistical aspect, let's say statistical inference and things like that. So if you want that video, let me know in the comment section. So I will go over to where I have the formula, and then I would double click on, here's the profit margin, so I'll double click on this cell. Then I would copy the whole formula. I'll copy it and then go over to my, so I would paste it here. So as you can see, I have pasted it, but we have to adjust so many things. At first, we have to provide what the value of intercept is. So the value of intercept was 0.09. So I will quickly change the first to 0.09. Sorry, let me remove that. So 0.09. Then we have to provide the value of beta for the sales, and the beta value is 0.0188%. so I'll quickly change that to 0.0188%. Then next, I have to provide the cell number in which, in this particular cell. I have to provide the cell number in this particular dashboard, which it includes the hypothetical cell value. So we have to remove the cell number, the Q7. We have to remove it. Then select this particular cell number N50, which is here, or rather mine is M50. In this particular case is M50, so we select M50, so that is what is going to be there. Then I have to remove this particular cell number, and I have to impute the beta value for the quantity sold. That is this. We have to remove it and then include, or rather impute the quantity sold value, or rather the beta value for the quantity sold, and the beta value that I got for the quantity sold is 0.3178. so that's why we have 0.3178 there. So next I will remove this cell number, which is this, and then I will impute the cell number of QS, that is quantity sold. That is what will be there. So after that I will hit enter. So I'll come back here. Okay, so I hit enter and you can see that we have an error message, and that is because those values, that is the value we chose, that is, or rather the cell numbers where we have the hypothesis and the QS, they are in text format. That is why we have that error. So we have to provide numbers for both the hypothesis and the QS, and so we'll remove the hypothesis and then we'll replace it with 500, and then the QS that's $500, and then the QS, that is the quantity sold, we'll replace it with 50. And finally you can see that the predicted profit margin, if we should convert this to percentage, if we should convert it to percentage, it should be about 16% or thereabout. So if you change any value, you will see your profit margin predicted would be adjusted. If we should change this or this, we will see that the profit margin predicted will be adjusted. So we have accomplished creating our dashboard. As you can see, we have accomplished that, but we have to do so many other things because the dashboard looks unfinished. We have to make some decorations, adjustments in this particular dashboard to make it more attractive. We will be doing that in our next lesson. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up.